Hello, parents. Welcome to Christianity in Our Culture and Old Testament Studies. My name is Aaron Canastraci, and if you're watching this video, that means two very important things. The first is that the substitute was able to get all of the electronics to work properly, which is fantastic. The more important reason why you're watching this video is that my wife has recently had our third child, a little girl who I'm sure is beautiful, but I'm putting this video together because we are anticipating it happening very soon, and I guess it happened, which is fantastic. I'm so sorry that I'm not able to be there tonight. I wished so dearly to be able to meet you, but I am meeting somebody who is also very important to me. Let's talk a little bit about the class. Christianity in Our Culture is the first semester. This class examines cultural phenomena from a Christian perspective. What does that mean? So we take a look at questions like, what is truth and what does the Bible say is true? Is truth relative, and what can we learn from the Bible to answer that question? We take a look at things like abortion and other big kind of questions that people wrestle with. And what I try to do is say, here is what Christians look at when they look at this cultural phenomena, whatever it may be. And here is where the Bible says whatever it says on that topic. And then we kind of dialogue and say, you know what, this is what Christians really think. Oftentimes, because there are so many different Christians in the world, we look at different ways that Christians interpret this. And then we look at the Bible and say, okay, well, what does the Bible actually say, and why do Christians believe what they believe on this particular topic? Some of the ways that you can help, especially in this first semester, is talk about these concepts at home. Ask your students what they're talking about in their Christianity and culture class, and that'll be a really good dialogue piece, I hope, for you to have with your students at home. The second is to encourage them to actually search for answers. Look through, research, do studying, because eventually they're going to be coming to their own conclusions on this. So I encourage them to do their own research and become informed to the best of their ability. Let's talk a little bit about community service. Community service is really important because it is mandatory that your student complete 25 hours of community service each year that they are here at Valley Christian. The first 10 community service hours are typically collected in the first week of December. So if you mark December 1st as kind of like your own personal deadline on when to get that community service done, then they will be ahead of the game. And then the second deadline, the remaining 15 hours are typically due by the end of the first week in May. So if you write down May 3rd, that's going to be a really safe bet for you. Let's talk a little bit about how to do this community service. It can be a little bit confusing. I would direct you to the syllabus, which can be found on my website, on the Learn at VCS, and that'll give you a really specific breakdown. But when we say 10 hours need to be church, an easy guideline is that it is a Christian organization that is performing the functions of a church. So if it's an organization that is founded by Christians, but they don't function as somebody's church, then that will not be able to be applied to the church hours. Then the remaining 15 hours can be done at church or at any organization of your choosing. This is a school-wide policy. It is 9th through 12th grade, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me at acanastraci@vcs.net, and I would be happy to clarify any questions that you have. Or if you just want to ask me about, would this organization work or would that organization work, I'm happy to give you specific answers through email or through voicemail. So let's talk a little bit about the second semester. Second semester is the Old Testament studies. This is meant to be a ground, to lay the groundwork for next year when they study New Testament. So Old Testament studies, we look at the major stories of the Old Testament. We look at the story of creation. We look at Moses and the story of the Israelites and kind of the history of God's people and how God interacts with them. On the first day of class, I talked to your students and I said that this class is very much going to be kind of an intro course to Christianity. What do we believe? Why do we believe it? So I kind of told them to treat me as the greeter in Target. I say, "Hi, welcome. How can I help you?" And then we look at different questions that they have, and I say, "Oh yes, wonderful. That can be found over there. That can be found over here." And so if you have any specific questions, I want to say I'm so sorry again that I wasn't able to be here to answer your questions, but just send me an email and I will get back to you just as soon as I can. Thank you so much for your understanding and your patience, and good luck in your other classes.